Hey YouTube land, YouTubers, all the people who dwell here within. I came here with a specific idea in my head, something I wanted to share with you guys, something that I had to give up a few weeks back, and I'll explain why in a minute. And it made this huge difference in things, and it made an even huger difference in my physical appearance. But as I was coming here getting ready to do that video, there's been these things that have been on my mind the last few days because of a couple of messages I received. So I wanted to talk about this really fast. So I've gotten these messages here lately from people who want to know why every time they watch one of my videos, they said that I make it seem easy, I make it look easy, I make it sound easy to lose over 100 pounds, to go low carb, to do low carb vegan, blah, blah. But that's not true. If you watch some of my first videos, I say in those videos that being low carb vegan is harder than any other form of low carb. I say that a lot. But there comes a time when a switch happens. Okay, so I'm going to give you the only example that I can really give you that makes sense to me. When I quit smoking cigarettes, it was like, 14 years ago, something like that. When I quit smoking cigarettes, I tried several methods. So think about all the diets you tried, right? You've tried several diets, several methods to lose weight, right? And maybe you've lost method. I quit smoking several times. I stopped temporarily smoking several times. I lost weight temporarily several times in my life. Okay, so I can relate these because they're all on the same track. When I finally quit smoking and I knew it was permanent, it was one of the hardest things I've done, but it wasn't the hardest thing I've ever done. It was just a hard thing. So what happened for me was I quit smoking and I was just miserable at first. It was like my best friend died. I've told people these stories before. It was like, this was the one thing that I laughed with, joked with, was sad with, mad with, glad with, all the emotions. It covered all the emotions for me. So I struggled. I struggled a lot. And then one day about 8.5 months in, the fact that I can remember that it was 8.5 months tells you what a struggle I was having at this time, right? I remember waking up that day, and I remember rolling over in the bed, and I remember thinking to myself, it's going to be a good day. And I remember getting up and looking out my window, and at the time we could see Mount Rainier off in the distance, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm a non-smoker, and I'm okay with that. And from that day on, even though there have been a couple times in my life that I've had cravings, I've had nicotine cravings, cigarette cravings, whatever, I've never even considered smoking again, but I was free from tobacco after that. From then on, I've been free, and I knew I was free. I knew that my freedom hinged only upon one thing, and that was if and when I ever decided that I was going to take that next drag of that cigarette. That's what it hinged upon. So it was totally within my control, totally within my power, because I no longer had cravings. I was no longer chained to it. So at this point, it had to be a conscious decision if I ever chose to smoke again, and I wouldn't, because hello, when you've been addicted to something or that held by something, and you are finally free of it, good God, the last thing you want to do is go back to it, right? And I had always said, I know that there are people that have quit smoking for long periods of time, like 10 years, 15 years, start smoking again. I've heard about it. I've known some. But I never understood it. In my mind, I've always thought, if I could ever quit smoking, I'm never going back. And so far, I meant that, and I still mean that. I still, every day I make a conscious decision I will never be a smoker again. So I relate that to what has happened this time with my weight loss. In the beginning, when I started doing the low carb weight loss and the lower the carb, and I kept lowering the carb and lowering the carb, I started out doing one set of low carb, and it worked for me because I weighed 265 pounds. So I could get away with a lot higher carb than what I'm doing now. And I was losing weight really steadily, really, quite a bit of weight. In the very beginning, I believe I lost 20 pounds my first month. I just, bam! And I was like, whoa, I was so excited, you guys. I was so excited. So I knew that you could lose a lot of weight doing this low carb thing. But as I've lost the weight, my body has adjusted. I've had to adjust my limit of carbs. I've had to adjust how much I ate. I've had to learn to eat smaller because, hello, small people eat small, right? You've heard me say that 1,000 times. Small people eat small. And I've had to learn all that stuff. But here's the thing. I have held my weight down and steady now for over a year. to the point that now people who have known me for lots of years are going, wow, can we talk about this? And I'm like, yeah, sure, we can talk about it, you know. And even they're like, wow, you've never managed to hold your weight down. You've held it down for a long time now. This is pretty impressive. What are you doing? What's different? And what's different was, as I was getting into the journey and things was getting good and it was getting easier, and I understood what my body was adjusting to, and I kind of understood which foods were fueling me and which foods were making me feel satisfied, because we're all going to be different with that, right? Like, I love cheesecake in real life. In the old world, the old me loved cheesecake. So I'm really happy when I take my pea base and I put a little lemon juice in it, and I just put a little, you know, like maybe some stevia in it. I kind of make it a cheesecakey type of a flavor. It works for me. Anyway, things like that. And I say this a lot in my beginning videos, and I probably should say it in every video. You have to know what your non-negotiables are. One of mine was bread. I learned how to make these little 90-second bread thingies, my own keto vegan version. I learned how to make these little keto vegan chaffle things, again, my own little version with minimal ingredients. I've posted the videos on here for you guys. And because I knew that I would need those things. I knew that I couldn't stick to anything that did not include some form of bread type things, right? And the funny thing is, I don't even eat them that often now, but I do eat them. So know your non-negotiables first, so that as you're getting into this, you're getting into the swing of this, you can keep yourself on track. And then what will happen is, one day, I don't know when, I don't know how long it will be, I don't know how long it will take for you. Everybody's different, but you're going to wake up one of these mornings and you're going to realize that things are different this time. You're going to realize that, first of all, you're not on a diet, and that you're okay with that, that you're developing this new lifestyle and you're okay with that. And that this time something's different. Something's different. You'll just know it. You'll feel it. Okay, you know, here's the thing. We talk about this all the time. I never felt thin before. No matter how much weight I lost, I could lose hundreds of pounds, but I never felt thin. Ever. Now, that was a weird thing, that I could never feel thin. And I lost weight, and I got really thin a couple times, and I bounced around and gained it all back. But I never felt thin. This time, as I was losing weight, I was feeling thinner. I was, you know, when I slide on a pair of 8 jeans and button and snap and zip them, I can feel that I'm fitting into my pants. You know, legs are a little bit loose. I can feel my legs inside them. I can just feel that I'm thinner. And I've never felt that before. And I don't know why it's happening this time. I don't quite get that part of it. But I really tune myself into it on purpose, because I think it's important to be able to feel those things. I think those are the things that keep us going. I've developed all these interesting little habits, like in our group, every day I take a picture of myself and post it as, you know, outfit of the day. Keeps me motivated, keeps me focused on what I'm doing. But I don't even really have to worry about it, because it is easy for me now. But it did take a while. I went back and went through notes and read my journals and all that kind of stuff. It was hard for me at first. It's hard for everybody at first. When you make big changes, that doesn't come without a little bit of pain, right? There has to be a little bit of pain. So expect that and just deal with it, because it's just part of it. Because it is going to get easier if you just keep sticking with it. Don't give yourself excuses to fall off. Don't give yourself timeouts. Don't give yourself cheat or treat days. Don't do any of that. Just make your mind up that you're going to do this and move forward with it. And don't let anything derail you. You can do that. If I can do that, you can do that. I mean, come on. Anybody can do it. You just have to make a conscious decision. So let me tell you what I decided a few weeks ago that has really upped my game here. So years ago, I was into bodybuilding when I was younger. I'm 61 now, but that's a long time ago. I was into bodybuilding and stuff, and I've always kept pretty good solid structure underneath my layers of hundreds of pounds, right? So a few weeks ago, I was having some stomach issues, and my husband read an article. He said, babe, you got to give up the carbonated drinks. I was drinking Zevia, Dr. Zevia, which is a stevia-based health food soda, carbonated soda type drink. It's not a soda, but it's like a soda. And I drank them. I liked them. I would only have one a day and sometimes two, but I really liked them a lot. And so I gave them up. I said, okay, let's do a trial. I'm going to give them up. So I've given them up now. We were trying to think of it this morning, 3 or 4 weeks. We're not quite sure. And all of a sudden, the last few days, I've noticed that I have obliques popping on the side of my stomach. You know, I'm like, Not only have I lost some of my stomach, is it going flatter even than it was getting, and I was already happy with it. Not only is it's got this muscular look, and it's getting, I don't know, I'm just kind of tripping on it a little bit. I'm like, so all I had to do was give up Dr. Zevia. You know, I've read articles that carbonation is not good for us. It's really not good for women. Like women who have an overactive bladder, don't drink carbonated beverages. It will make it 100 times worse. Yeah, I'm going to attest to that, because in the last few weeks, that changed for me too. And I was like, I never even knew that was a thing. Yeah, my daughter did, but I didn't. So yeah, I just wanted to share that, and share what's been on my mind about the whole not being hard at first. I'm sorry if I make it sound like it's never been hard, but if you go back and read my very first videos, I do talk about it being harder to do this as a vegan, especially to do low carb as a vegan. It just is. You know, it's going to be harder. But you know what? I have found so many ways to make it easy now that I can actually do 20 total carbs. And I'm going to be doing a video about that coming up, about how to only do 20 total carbs a day on a vegan diet, or a vegan way of eating, not a diet, and making it work. I did it for a few weeks. I tracked it and everything. I posted pictures. It's doable. So that'll be coming up. So watch for it. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.